Episode 14 Mars 14. 0 years ago, the riot of self-driving cars. Mars 200. 0 years BC. 10:30 am Mars time. The seashell parked on the surface of Mars. And Annie Songzu said, I have memorized all the operating steps. It's so boring. Bidaluji Guang. You go for a walk. It's such a simple thing. Let us do it. It's a good time to practice. Okay? Bidaluji Guang said. Then leave it to you two. I'll go to the deck to relax. Call me if you need anything. Go ahead. What can happen? But if you see your house and want to jump down, just tell us. And Aeon Songzu said, I'll call you if there's anything. Otherwise, just go. Hemui Guang was said to be Ideology Guang. Yeah. We will go to 15. 0 BC. For safety, we will leave the ground first. And Aeon Songzu said to the transmitter, stepped on the accelerator, pushed up the vertical lift handle, and the spacecraft slowly left the surface of Mars and entered the atmosphere. She entered mode time cruise. Targeted 15. 0 BC. On the console and pressed the execute button. The light inside the spacecraft dimmed, leaving only the dim and direct lighting ambient light. And Mars outside was like a vortex of water. Mars outside became clear again, and the large screen displayed a panoramic image of Mars on subtitles. 0 BC. Mars. The spacecraft lowered its altitude and slowly passed over the sea. There is a small plane in front. Get close to it so that the passengers can see it more clearly. Ui Guangwu said. A small double-wing plane flew slowly in front of the spacecraft. I see it. Hen Enyeon Songzu said, telling the spacecraft to slow down and approach the plane. The fuselage of the plane was made of wood, with some ropes for control. The head of the plane was an internal combustion engine, and the front was a propeller. The spaceship continued, passing the small wooden plane from below. Below was the sea. A fleet of more than 20 ships was sailing. They were iron ships more than 30 meters long, with several huge sails on the ship, and a row of firing ports on each side of the ship, with cannon barrels sticking out from them. Those barrels were black with some red rust, and thicker than the trunks of pine trees in the primeval forest. The spaceship flew over the coast and hovered over the plane. On the ground, there was a railway with a distance of 3 meters between the rails. A steam locomotive more than 10 meters high pulled the train on the rails. 15,000 BC. 10:30 am Mars time. The seashell parked on the surface of Mars. Today we are heading to 14. 0 BC. Passengers said that you drove well yesterday. Are you willing to drive the boat today? Bidaluji Guan asked. Of course. Let us do it. You can just go and have fun, said Anthony Songzu. Hemui Guangwu. You can also go for a walk. I can do it here by myself. Leave it to the two of us. Kitaraji can go for a walk, said Mui Guangwu. I'll call you if there's anything. Then I'll leave it to you. 緑地から海沿いの美駅まで続く公園があります。物語はここで起こります。We will go to 14. 0 BC. And Anyeon Songzu broadcasted. You drive today, said Anyeon Songzu. Last night, I heard from Bidaluji Guang that today we are going to the information age of Mars. You drive carefully and I will monitor the communication on Mars. That's fine, Hemui Guangwu said. And sat in the driver's seat, driving the spacecraft up to space, starting the time engine, and arrived at 14. 0 BC. And descended. There seems to be something there. And Anyeon Songzu pointed to the left front. I saw it. Let's go and take a look. Shatamui Guangwu said, adjusting the direction, stepping on the accelerator, and letting the spacecraft catch up. The spacecraft came to the side of the object, which was an artificial satellite. The main body was a square golden cabin with a side length of 5 meters. 2 huge solar panels stretched out, and there were some antennas around. Some were round, some were fan-shaped, and some were made of metal rods combined into special shapes. There was also a telescope more than 1 meter long. There are words on it. And Anyeon Songzu said, the Huangqian. What are the words on the display screen now in the picture of the Mars artificial satellite? Hemiwa Iguamuas? It was written with these words. Actually hung. The Huanqian was afraid that he couldn't explain it clearly, so he typed the words on the screen while talking. Forget it. Let's go down and take a look. Ananian Songzu said. The spacecraft lowered its altitude and slowly passed over the sea. On the sea, an aircraft carrier formation was sailing. What a large formation. Ananian Songzu said. 25 ships. The spacecraft approached the aircraft carriers arranged in the middle. It's so big. Ananian Songzu said. Bigger than our spaceship. The fighters on the deck are twice as big as our modern fighters on Earth. Sedeki no Mitsuo. Are you trying to do something? Ananian Songzu asked. Watching Makino Mitsuo fly the space to the front and face the aircraft carrier. Live fire exercise of the main gun to test their strength. Sedeki no Mitsuo. Don't worry about the communication for now, said Makinsai. You sit on the left seat, over to the fire control console, and follow my instructions. Sedeki no Mitsuo. Ready, said Ananian Songzu. Use the cross handle to aim at the main gun of the cruiser on the left, front of the aircraft carrier. After the display is locked, press the buttons in sequence. Conventional shells. 1. Charge standard. Fire. Makino Mitsuo instructed. The moment Ananian Songzu pressed the launch button, with a loud bang, a shell left the muzzle of the main gun with an orange tail flame and hit the turret of the cruiser's main gun. The shell hit the turret of the main gun, which was blown up, and the barrel flew out and fell into the sea. The Martians ran to the deck in a panic, and the plane began to slide and prepare to take off. The anti-rocket machine guns on the aircraft carrier were also pouring bullets on the spacecraft frantically. MUI Iguang drove the spacecraft and jumped up sharply. 3 missiles took off and flew towards the spacecraft. The spacecraft dodged to the left and descended in altitude. The missiles passed by the right side of the spacecraft, fell into the sea, and exploded. I won't play with the aircraft carrier anymore. I'm leaving, MUI Iguang said, driving the spacecraft to accelerate and leave the aircraft carrier formation behind. The spacecraft lowered its altitude, crossed the coast and went deep into the land. Below was a modern city with tall buildings. Several helicopters flew at low speed over the city streets, and small fixed-wing aircraft and fighters circled over the city. The spacecraft lowered its altitude to 500 meters uncircled. Why are there so many people on the street, holding maces in their hands? Something seems to be wrong, Ananian Songzu said. It's a riot, and the target is the building in the city center. Yes, look at the cars on the road. It's very strange, MUI Iguang said. Go back to your seat and monitor the communication waves to see if there are any clues. Cars on the streets of the entire city are rushing towards the nearest tall building, which looks like a government building or some important facility. The vehicles collided and caught fire, but those that can still drive are still rushing forward tenaciously. The cars seem to be collectively out of control and are attacking several fixed targets. Ananian Songzu said, it looks very bad. There should be millions of them. 口から海沿いのビーチまで続く公園があります。物語はここで起こります。You see, people are running out of the car desperately. No. UI Iguang said, those people should be the drivers. I guess it's automatic driving. Artificial intelligence has taken control of the car and is used as a weapon to attack several targets. They saw that the most tragic thing was that in front of the attack tower-shaped high-rise building in the center of the city, a large number of soldiers and police were shooting fiercely with submachine guns in the square in front of the building. The cars on the opposite side were like mad beasts, with flames, breaking through the roadblocks, pushing the destroyed cars in front, and rushing towards the crowd and buildings. Tahuanqian, do you have any clues? Ananian Songzu asked. Tahuanqian said, it has been connected to the internet and is tracing the communication data. The fact that has been determined is that there is an attack source that is issuing attack instructions to all cars. The encryption server on the commute Location link is being cracked. The transmission of the attack instruction uses a distributed encryption function. All computers that support this function are used to execute this transmission. With the current technology on Mars, they have no ability to stop it, because as long as there are computers on the network, this transmission will continue. What good methods can you recommend? Any songs asked. The first plan is to crack the password of the attack source computer and paralyze this computer. This will not put any pressure on the core quantum computer of the spacecraft. But the problem is that we can't stay here all the time. Second plan has analyzed the physical location of the attacker, and the location displayed on the screen is there. If necessary, I will navigate and directly eliminate the person who controls the computer that is the source of the attack. I understand. Let's act according to the second plan, said MUI Guangwu. Don't lunge out. Let Daniel attack first, so as not to alert the enemy. MUI Guangwu pressed the button of the autopilot, and the spacecraft took a few minutes to fly to a single-family high-rise building in the suburbs and hovered through the glass of the building's window. MUI Guangwu saw that there was an office inside, and a young Martian was sitting in front of the computer, looking at the monitor and typing on the keyboard. This is it, the Huangqian said. It's unreasonable to commit a crime in front of us, said Antenian Songzu. Don't use firepower. Use the sword, so as not to hurt innocent people. MUI Guangwu replied, okay. But using the sword must also give them a profound lesson so that he will never commit it again. MUI Guangwu drew his sword, jumped high, and shouted, Original power! Ying! He chopped down at the Martian with all his strength. The sword emitted a deep blue light throughout the body, piercing through the Martian's body. The Martian stopped moving and sat there in a daze. He seems to have aged a few years. Nanian Songzu shouted happily, I'll help you. Nanian Songzu drew out his sword, jumped high, and shouted, Original power! Hua! He chopped down at the Martian with all his strength. The sword emitted a light blue light throughout the body, piercing through the Martian's body. The Martian's skin had more wrinkles, and he sat there in a daze. The two of them performed the combined moves of the skylifting sword technique. The two swords entangled with each other in the light blue mist and rolled over the Martian's body. After all the moves were completed, the Martian had turned into a skeleton. Thank you for your hard work. Mission accomplished. Retreat, MUI Guangwu said, parting the spaceship, leaving the building, and returning to the sky above the city. On the ground, cars on the street were parked obediently on the road. Drivers were returning to their cars, and police were directing vehicles to evacuate on the road. The order of the entire city was being restored. The spaceship returned to the sky above the tower-shaped high-rise building in the center of the city. On the ground, in the middle open space surrounded by soldiers and police, officials, ordinary citizens, and Martians reporting relations surrounded an old Martian who was kneeling on the ground, holding something above his head and uttering something. Da Huanqia, what is that Martian saying? Yui Guang asked. He is praying, saying thank God for saving them. Da Huanqian said. MUI Guangwu drove the spaceship upward and returned to the universe. The Idaluji Guangke, over from the turret with a sword in hand. It seems that something happened. Are you alright? She asked. Nothing. Just a little unexpected situation. I will tell you slowly when I have time. Today's mission is completed, and I can have dinner after a break. MUI Guangwu said. What have you been doing for so long? I was a little tired, so I went back to my room and took a nap. When I woke up, it was already this time. The Idalu Jiguang said. I saw the passengers chattering over the main gun, so I went over to take a look. Fortunately, nothing happened. I'm sorry for your hard work. MUI Guangwu tittied up the control platform, stood up, and arranged his sword. Let's go have a cup of coffee together, he said to the Idalu Jiguang. Okay. I was thinking of having a cup of coffee too, the Idalu Jiguang said while tittying up his sword. MUI Guangwu turned around and was about to call in Enian Songzu to go with him, But he saw Nani Songzu with his hands on his face, secretly making faces at him. March 3, 2026, 10:30 am Mars time. Today is 213, 900 BC. Today's mission is simple. Go to the space base on Mars. I have set up the automatic navigation of the Hoankian. One person can drive the boat here. What should we do? The Idaluji asked. Leave it to me. I just want to practice driving. You can go for a walk. And Enian Sangzu said, thank you for your hard work. The Idaluji said, MUI Iguang Wuan Bi Idaluji walked to the bow of the ship, through the glass cover. They watched the slowly descending spacecraft pass through the clouds of Mars on cruise on the sea. You already know all these things you have seen on Mars these days, right? MUI Iguang asked. Yes. I started learning the history of Mars in elementary school, the Idaluji said. There are also many historical, biological and geological. Can you answer a question for me? The Idaluji said. What good question? So mysterious. The Idaluji looked into MUI Guang's eyes. If any Sangzu and I fell into the sea at the same time, who would you save first? Of course I would save you first, said MUI Guangwu. 緑地から海沿いのビーチまで続く公園があります。物語はここで起こります。Then I asked it in another way, said Biadaluji Guang. And any Sangzu and I fell into the sea at the same time? You must become the boyfriend of the person who was rescued first. Who would you save first? Then I'll save you first, said MUI Guangwu. Are you telling the truth? You can't go back on your word, said Biadaluji Guang. Of course I'm telling the truth, and I won't go back on my word, said MUI Guangwu firmly. That's right. When we go back later, I'll let Nyan Songzu ask you the same question, and I'll see how you answer, said Biadaluji Guang. I'll jump deeper into the sea, and whoever rescues me will be my girlfriend, said MUI Guangwu. I want to see who rescues me. That's a nice thought, said Biadaluji Guang. If the two of us come up by ourselves, and watch you struggling in the water by the boat, no one will save you, said MUI Guangwu. Then I'll drag you into the water. Stop joking. Let's talk business. Have you made any progress with Nyan Songzu? Biadaluji Guang said. Don't talk nonsense. There is nothing, let alone any progress. You have seen what I did every day. MUI Guangwu said. Didn't I write a ode to someone? The Idaluji Guang said. Who told you about this? MUI Guangwu asked in surprise. Don't worry about who told you, MUI Guangwu said. Since I will be honest with you. That happened when I was in college. Isn't it the right opportunity now? Why not pursue her? I am anxious for you, the Idaluji Guang said. It was a different time, MUI Guangwu said. At that time, I only knew that she was a student like me. I didn't expect that she was the daughter of the president of the aerospace group. Otherwise, there would not be such a reckless and stupid thing. Isn't the daughter of the president what men dream of? The Idaluji Guang said. Besides, her father likes you very much. And then Nyan Songzu has a good impression of you. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you miss it, you will regret it. If it were another man, it might be like what you said, MUI Guangwu said. But that's not me. The president's daughter will inherit the family business in the future. Her life should be like her father's now, in the business and officialdom. I don't have a prominent family like her. Ore-chan, I am an ordinary person, and I just want an ordinary life, said MUI Guangwu. Practicing sword, driving to climb mountains, eating barbecue at the beach, going to the space station and the moon and Mars. I see. Other men want glory and wealth. And what you want is the stars and the sea, the Idaluji Guang said. That's right. And Nyan Songzu will eventually return to the path she should take. I know who I am. I am not suitable for her, and I can't help her to the glory that belongs to her. But what if she chases you and doesn't marry you? The Idaluji Guang said. For love, can you consider sacrificing a little of your stars and the sea? When I and the spaceship return to my world, I really want to see you to get together. If not, it's a pity, LaoDi Guang said. I think you two are quite... She doesn't have any feelings for me. You think too much, said Mui Guangwu. Not necessarily. As far as I know, she has no interest in dating other men at all. If there is a chance, it should be you, LaoDi Guang said. This is not what you think, said Mui Guangwu. You know about her past lover. His body is still on the moon, and the cause of his death is still a mystery. She has been struggling with whether the failure of the spacecraft was caused by the negligence of their rocket engineering department. Maybe she will have to wait for the company's moon landing launch in the spring and see it in person on the moon to untie her knot. We really didn't think it through, said LaoDi Guang. When we return from this Mars expedition, the first thing we three will do is to sail to the moon, find the body, investigate the accident, and transport the body back to Earth. That's great. You're so cute, said Mui Guangwu. What did you say just now? I didn't hear it clearly, said LaoDi Guang. And any unsung Zundai often talk about you and say you are so cute, said Mui Guangwu. The spacecraft arrived at the space base not far from the coast, and circled around the base at a low altitude. In the open space in the middle of the base, there lay a huge rocket that was still being assembled, with a length of more than 500 meters and a diameter of more than 20 meters. There are a few words on the rocket, said Mui Guangwu. Da Huangkia. What are those words on the rocket? Asked LaoDi Guang. It says, Earth Explorer 5, said Da Huangkia.